shut it all down.
He shut it down. I posted it. They took it off in the next second. I was like, wow, I can't even vibe up here. Like, that's crazy.
Yo, I wonder, how did they do it that quick? How did they do it that quick?
I don't know, bro.
Like,
it's probably just like the Shazam technology. Like, as
hey,
soon as
let's
you
go,
uploaded
Knicks Nation. Knicks Nation, let's go.
We're going to talk some basketball, Miss Campbell. We're going to be talking some basketball, but before that, we are going to talk something else. In case you are interested in seeing what else we got to talk about, we're going to talk some hoops and some other stuff. What's going on, Zach?
There's other stuff? Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me. I'm wondering what you got in your sleeve.
You know, that's the thing. I like to throw you guys off a little bit so I can get like a competitive edge. And what I want to say by kind of like just sharing your minds off from basketball a little bit. But we're going to get started in about a minute and a half, just giving people more time to come on here. What up, everybody?
Hop in. What's good, everybody?
Third episode in. We are definitely, we've appreciated the feedback you guys have given us so far, and we just want to continue to grow with y'all. That's why
I've been beating y'all down the last 3 weeks. That's why, you know what I'm saying?
Who won that last trivia?
They know. The trivia is the only win you got. My bets are hitting. All my teams get hot and stay hot. My predictions is fire right now. They about to come to me to find out.
We're about to find out. All right. Let's kick it off. Last week we talked about who had the better vocals, the better pure vocals between Mariah Carey. By the way, it's funny because some of the lambs, right, which is like the Mariah Carey, the fans, the lambs, some of them are still kind of like trying to trickle back in to ratio me. I'm like, nah, I survived that ratio. Y'all gotta, I'm not even responding anymore because I survived the ratio. I survived.
Right.
I was getting literally 100 tweets per minute. 100, and all hate tweets.
Just over this Mariah Carey thing?
Over the Mariah Carey stuff. I was getting, I sent it to Johnell. The initial post had over 1 million engagement.
That's crazy.
I was getting cussed out in languages I couldn't even understand. People overseas.
This is a global thing. This is a global conversation.
Right. All right, so we talked about Mariah Carey and Brandy, and as me and Johnell were right, Brandy's a better singer. Today, I want to ask you guys this, and you may have one sentence, because every time I say just the word or the answer, y'all never have actually followed that direction. You guys it tells me y'all were not good in school because y'all didn't follow directions really well.
Yeah. School wasn't for me.
Which record, shout outs to Spoxio, who we are sponsored by, and we are partners with Spoxio. They are currently on this live right now. Go download the app. If you're an athlete, you're looking to be discovered, by playing sports of your liking across the world. There are scouts on that site looking to find you. So if you are an athlete, you need to be on that app. That is like, that's definitely something you need to do.
Man, I wish I had this type of stuff when I was coming up, bro. Then Then I'm telling Rochester, who really D1.
Oh,
yeah. I'm out here D1. I would have been playing at Ohio State. What you saying?
Ooh, okay.
If I had that Spoxy out,
right?
Seeing all my touchdowns, bum.
Right.
Seeing my juice, I had the ill breakdown.
Right. So, fellas, you get one sentence to make your case on this question. Who had the better record? I don't want to say disc because you guys are going to know what I'm saying, but I've said it. Who had a better disc record? Takeover or Ether? Because this is an ongoing debate that still has not died.
This is easy, man.
It's an easy one for me. The better record is Takeover.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The better disc is Ether.
So that's a wash. Okay, we all agree on that one.
In my opinion. Because, Jay-Z put it on the album. Like, he really did, the things he was saying on that song, just, some of the most disrespectful things you could say. But Ether is just, Ether could have been about anybody. Anybody could get that Ether. Yeah. And that's why I feel like it's, a diss song for, it was meant for Jay-Z, but that's a diss song for anybody.
Yeah. But, no, I know what you're saying, Prince. You could substitute somebody else's name into Ether, and it could be about anybody. Whereas Jay-Z, he was talking about Nas. You know what I'm saying? And Prodigy and Mobb Deep and those guys, but yeah.
That's so lame.
To me, it felt like Takeover was the big guy on the schoolyard that kind of gives, he get a little homie a spanking, and then a little homie, because he can't scrap, he's like, well, your mother, like, right? Like, he was just trying to be disrespectful, but Jay-Z was using a lot of facts and takeover.
It was all facts.
He was like literally schooling homie. So I'm glad we got that sorted out, because I've gotten jumped on Twitter for saying that as well.
It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, a pen to a test. You know what it is. That's what y'all walking into every time I heat check. When you come to walk into me, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
All right. Before we get into the who's hot and who's not, there were some news, not really sporting news, but it involved the basketball player that came out yesterday, and I want to know who you guys are siding with. Kevin Durant apparently tore.
He was out of his mind, man.
This guy is undefeated in Twitter beef, yo. He's undefeated in Twitter beef. Stop coming for this dude.
He tore Michael Rappaport an entire new 1.5. And Rappaport, who I felt was really corny to release those messages. That was really
all right. So you do agree with that? Okay, I do.
Yeah, that was whack.
We should never have known about this, but now that it's here,
right? That was whack. He feels like he says he felt threatened and he felt like KD crossed the line talking about his wife. And Kevin Durant's like, well, we talk like that all the time. Why are you tripping now?
Yeah.
Who you guys side? Because I know. I don't think that what KD did was I wouldn't necessarily say, oh wow, great job, because like that's who he is. That's not who I am. But I do feel like Rappaport, like of all people, for you,
he's like the number one. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what he does to everybody else. He did that to Donald Trump for the last 4 or 5 years.
So you guys are siding with KD on this one, or Mike? Who do you guys think is in the right here?
I'm saying if you come for somebody and they come back at you and they can, like, that's the thing. He was on them DMs and he didn't respond to none of them. Like, he was, KD was just serving them up, like waiting for him to come back and say something. So that's what it makes, like, how well do they know each other? Did they know each other pretty well?
I don't know.
Like, I'm not sure about that, but like, it seemed like the thing, he talking about the man's wife. He must know something about his situation to be telling him that, or he could just be super disrespectful. I don't know, but
could be either or. I mean, I'm siding with KD, but I also just think KD's like really sensitive, man. Like he needs a social media manager.
We know that.
Yo, well, then he'll just get a burner.
But he doesn't. Come on, don't do that.
He just get a burner.
You're right, though.
This dude. Every time that dude got a phone in his hand, you gotta be like, Kevin, what you doing?
KD doesn't want one though. He wants to talk his ish, and I like.
He's undefeated.
He's undefeated on Twitter, and somebody said something to him or about him, and he replied to the person, and a casual fan was just like, bro, like, relax. This is Twitter. Like, he was like, nah, you relax.
Nah. He'll son a civilian. He'll son a regular person. He don't care, yo. He be in the comments, like, he'll be like the 37th comment down. Like, he don't care. He be reading through them and like.
As petty as it might sound to men, I kind of like it. I like that. Like he's willing to be himself where the entire world could see it. And
he is.
Again, I wouldn't do that because like I'm Kevin Durant. Like I'm not going back and forth with somebody on Twitter. But it's like for my entertainment purposes. I love it. I'm like
to connect to connect it all to basketball. Yeah. To connect it all to basketball, it does make me question, like, what y'all about under pressure. Like, him and Kyrie, they both be like, they don't know how to talk in public like normal people. And it makes me think, like, what's it going to be Game 7, all 3 and 5, 7 of them on the court or however many. Like, and, like, what's going to happen? Game 7, games on the line. Like,
we're going to talk about
what's the pressure like?
Some of that stack deck we're going to talk about. Jay says KD didn't have that energy for Draymond.
Sure didn't.
But I think it's different, bro. I mean, you're in a game. This happened on the court, like in the middle of a game going into overtime.
But that, in the middle of the game, yes, but it spilled over to the locker room. Like it was toxic in that locker room because the two of them couldn't get along.
This dude Spencer's crazy.
Do you think the fact that he feels like Draymond is almost like, it's like it's in that NBA, it's a brotherhood, right? So not like necessarily he's a brother, but he's of equal, caliber to talk. Like he's in the NBA, a champion.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't feel like, well, you're just some like Instagram, radical dude who just comes at people's neck. I don't know. Maybe he feel like.
I don't think that's the case.
He said he had all season to get spicy with Jay. So clearly Jay's not going with that Kevin Durant guy stuff.
He don't like it.
It's not rocking over here.
Jay is not. He's not a believer that KD is about that action.
I don't think he is either, honestly.
Talking some undercourt stuff. This is kind of like sneaky news that I don't think anybody is paying attention to. Dennis Schroeder, the point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, he was offered, he's been going on with contract negotiations since the season started. He's in the last year of his contract. He's trying to get a bag, right? He's been in the conversation as one of the best 6 men of the year. Now he's starting for the Lakers. He's played well. And the Lakers offered him a 4-year, $84 million contract extension that would, put him at 21 per. And he just declined it. Big deal or no big deal? As far as, what happens if this carries into the offseason and now, he has a market? Are the Lakers, should they be, prioritizing keeping Schroeder? Or is it THT's in the cut anyway?
That's an interesting question. I mean, first of all, it would be a good position to be in to turn down that kind of money. So that's a good position to be in. I think the Lakers could supplement him anywhere. I mean, look, sign him back if you can. He helps them. He does make them better. Sure. But I don't think it's if he goes that it's going to, as long as a healthy AD, and Joe Schmoes around them is enough to me. I just think that I don't think it's worth blowing up or eating up your cap trying to give this guy money to stay and outbidding everybody else who wants him. If somebody else wants, if you give him a number and you feel like that's where you're comfortable at, and he declines it, then let him go.
I tend to agree completely with you, Cash. I mean, they gave him an offer. If he took it, great. If he didn't, it is what it is. I mean, at this point, after next season, you got LeBron, every year he's going to be signing a new contract. So, it's win now. And if Dennis doesn't work, you get somebody new. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. He's going to play out this season. We'll see what happens. And that might have a big impact. If LeBron and AD can't get right, and they get knocked out early, first, second round, he might say, man, this isn't the team that I want to be around, and go someplace else. Yeah. So he's playing the game. It's a business.
Yeah, he's been vocal about saying he wants to be a Laker, but he also wants to test the market. He wants to
he wants to see what his value is.
You know what it's like once July 1st hits, teams are throwing money out the
Bro, we're talking about July 28th, bro. We're talking about Woj and Shams will have stuff popping off 3 days before. It's crazy.
I think I said this and I tweeted this. I said I think the Lakers can Dennis could go and help the Lakers get a ring this year. And then next year, if he's wilding asking for 26, 27, I'm not paying Dennis Schroeder 27.
Yeah, he wants a super max. And if somebody gives him the super max, go get that money, player.
Right. Taylor Horton Tucker, who is their young backup guard, he's like a /2/3. He's just a weapon on the floor. He is in a contract year as well. His contract runs this year, and he's going to go into free agency. So he's going to demand. Right now, he's probably making like $1 million or $2 million.
I don't know. You got to see what he's going to do in the playoffs. Look, that team is not. They're not paying this guy for these 72 games. They're gonna pay him if he helps them win a championship. The Lakers got the most championships in the whole league. They're not gonna pay this kid crazy money just for that. So that's what for me. That's what it's gonna come down to. How far do they go? If they don't make it, the shooter can go ahead. They ain't gonna bring him back. Yeah. And Taylor Horton Tucker, they'll just say, all right, we're gonna go with this kid. But Taylor Horton Tucker, if they win, I would see, and you could get Schroeder back, and it's between the two of them. I'm taking Schroeder.
Yeah. I like Taylor a lot. I think Taylor, he's young. He's very raw.
Yeah.
His ceiling is.
I gotta see what he do in June.
Right. We'll see. He said chips are both hot. All right. Let's get it started then. Who is hot? And please do not tell me the Brooklyn Nets or James Harden anymore, because I'm tired of the Brooklyn Nets and James Harden being the hot team. Johns, I'll start with you. Who is hot right now in the NBA?
Obviously you got Brooklyn, you got Philly, you got Milwaukee. I'm gonna go with Sacramento. Sacramento, this time last week, they were sitting at the 13th seed. They've won 7 of their last 10, I believe, their last 5. And De'Aaron Fox, he's been going crazy. I think he's averaging like 31-6 or something like that. And right now they're sitting 2.5 games out of that 8 spot. So I'm not saying they're gonna. I'm not necessarily saying they're gonna make the playoffs, but right now they're playing very good basketball, and a relatively young team. It seems like they're putting it together at the right time. So if they can keep this going, I can see them sliding in at that 8 seed, 7 seed.
And all they really have to do, by the way, is get to that 10th spot, and then they have a shot.
Absolutely.
So they don't even got to crack the 7th or 8th. If they're in that conversation, that they're in a good spot.
Just get to the play-in. Yo, I got a very, very abstract one. Okay. But y'all gonna think it's weird, but you're gonna like it. I promise. All right. I got the Charlotte Hornets, yo. Charlotte Hornets, first in the Southeast Division, 4th place in the East right now. We know it's an orange race in the East, but they're pulling away a little bit at 24-22. They have won 4 of their last 5 since LaMelo has went down. Terry Rozier, yo. Terry is scary right now. This dude is going off right now. He's playing real well for them. So is Devontae Graham coming off the bench and helping them there. All those guards, they got so many guards there. Malik Monk is chipping in. Yo, it's feeling real good down there in Charlotte. It's like, oh man, these picks are starting to finally hit. I like Bridges. I like Gordon Hayward is perfect for that team because he's that one guy on the team that could go and just get his own bucket. Not within the offense, but he can also play within the offense too. He's not like a selfish player and needs it all the time. So I like Charlotte is hot right now. We'll see how they hold on without LaMelo. Yeah. I think they're going to be all right. And honestly, I hope the playoff standings stay how they are right now. Because in the East, they're at 4, the Knicks are at 5. That would be a nice 4-5 game. I would like to see that. It would
be a really good series.
And you know what I mean? Like, that would be a good series that would probably stretch out. And both those teams could use a second round to the trip playoffs, even though they're going to run into Philly or Brooklyn in the next round or whatever. It would just be nice for those 2 young teams to get to the second round of the playoffs and have something to work for moving forward.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I like Charlotte a lot. They've definitely played well. But most importantly, in regards to Charlotte, they have the absolute best commentator in all of sports right now. Their commentator is the funniest dude.
Yo, he's hilarious, yo.
Oh, my God.
I love hearing his stuff. He makes LaMelo passes like a LaMelo Ball lead pass was like the craziest thing.
He jumps out of his seat in the most like, surprised manner, like he's never seen it before. And I like that. I like listening to a game or watching a game where I know that this guy's gonna bring it all the time. So I think
going crazy. But don't ever disrespect Clyde Frazier like that ever again. All right, let's move on.
Man, Clyde can sit down.
We're spinning and winning to the next segment. Move on. Let's go.
That got old like 3 years ago for me, bro. I'm rocking with the Hornets guy. So Charlotte is hot. Sacramento's hot. Johnell, who is not right now? Who is flunking, going down the drain? Who's not popping right now?
Yo, so honestly, I had a really hard time trying to figure out who I wanted to say was not. At this point in the season, I kind of feel like we know who's who, So I'm going to kind of cheat, and I'm going to go with the Pelicans. Simply because I think they're way too talented to be sitting in the cellar of the Western Conference.
Right.
I don't know if this is a coaching issue, a chemistry issue. They have the personnel, but there's just something that's not clicking with them over there. So I'm cheating a little bit here, but I got to go with the Pelicans because I think they should be a lot better than what they are.
Especially how Zion's playing. Zion don't arrive now.
He
is the real deal. Yeah. Nobody else stop saying that he not gonna be. We got to see how he's gonna be for a whole. Blah blah blah. The boy could play.
Yeah.
He could play. It's like an actual freight train to these little skinny boys. All these stretch fours trying to guard him. It's hilarious. He be putting shoulders in all their chests, breaking sternums out there.
Literally.
He's so strong.
So
the way Rick Carlisle described it, oh my bad, go ahead. The way Rick Carlisle described it, he was like he's creating collisions. It was just it was insane.
Yeah.
Right. So Johnell has the Pelicans as the team that are not hot right now. Who do you have as the team that is not hot right now, Cash?
Guys, I got Golden State. We all thought they would be better than this. Even without Steph, We all thought it would be better than this. Steph, I got no beef
even without Steph.
I mean, even without Clay. I mean, excuse me. Even without Clay.
Yeah.
Even without Clay, I thought they were going to be okay. But look, this team is just struggling everywhere, and I'm going to bring attention to you to the biggest things, the things that made those dynasty teams good and are great. Excuse me. It was their defensive ability. This team is not playing defense, guys. They're giving up 116 points a game. 116 points a game. It's bad. They lost 4 of their last 5, and that's like the biggest problem with them right now is that they're not stopping anyone. As recently as like the other night, they gave up like 141 points to the Kings. 141. Yeah. They're not defending well. Draymond is not helping out that well offensive or that much offensively. They're not getting the help that they need from Wiggins either. Steph is averaging 30. I don't know how much more he can give you than that.
I mean, Steph has been hurt. Steph has been hurt. He just came back this week.
He's played 40 games though, yo. He's played 40 games.
But I will also say that I'm not trying to trash your point or anything like that, but I don't think they were ever a great defensive team. Honestly, I think that they played enough defense, during their run. They played enough defense to force the other team to have to score. So if Clay and Steph are putting up 50 to 60 points by themselves, and then you throw in KD and Draymond and whatever else they're doing, it makes defense a lot easier where
that's true. Okay.
They're playing catch up. They're having to kind of press to keep up with these guys.
Right.
That team isn't built to play in a half court and shut down
Not at all.
team. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. Yeah.
So that makes 116 points a game is a lot.
That's a lot of points to be given up to to these. Like I said, the games are one of the most jarring. Like the games that they're losing to the teams they're losing to. The Bulls they beat the Bulls, but the Hawks. The Hawks they lost to. I mean, the Hawks have been up and down all year. Not really great. Embiid-less 76ers team, and they were at full health that night. They like I said, lost to the Kings, lost to the Grizzlies. It's been bad to the Lakers without LeBron, or that was without LeBron, right? So I mean, they've been struggling this year, and they're not scoring the way they are either. Like, Draymond's averaging 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. Bro, come on.
He's the best defender of all time, though.
But they're giving up 116 points on his team.
I wanna push a button then, because I feel like you guys are kind of saying some things, but you're not really trying to say what a brother wants y'all to say. So the Warriors are 23-24, right? That is 47 games. Steph has played 40 of those 47 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And they are underwhelming. Where is that energy? I'm just going to keep it a buck. Where is the energy that Russell Westbrook has gotten for carrying those terrible Thunder teams post KD to the playoffs and getting kicked out the first round? And why aren't we not getting that kind of energy for Steph in regards to, Steph has really not done anything without a stacked deck. Not saying that Steph is not good. This is not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, what is the difference?
I think that Steph needs circumstances. I think you could drop Russell Westbrook just like you're seeing. I mean, like, look, Washington's not good, but you can see you drop the man in any city and he's going to give you triple doubles. He's going to produce. Like, that's what Russell Westbrook do. Steph is doing, like I said, he's playing great. We know what it is. But I think for what he contributes to the game, for that to lead to wins, he needs a lot more around him. And that's just how I agree with you there. And that's how I'm looking at it. And Russ, when Katie left, Russ won an MVP and averaged a triple-double for the whole season.
For a couple seasons.
Yeah, for a couple seasons straight. So we know what that is.
And I'm not by any chance.
There were no losses. They were like a 6 seed.
Russ is better than Steph. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
no, not at all.
For Steph to be this player, people are saying top 8, top 10. For him to be what people are calling a god with a basketball, this guy can't carry a team with still really good.
Good players.
It's not trash.
They got Kelly Oubre, Wiggins, Pascal. They got guys.
How many players have carried a team? that's not even a fair thing to put on any player. Quite frankly.
Not Kawhi Leonard, apparently to you.
Are we talking about to a championship or just like to a playoff appearance? Are we talking about, because that's two different things.
I'm talking
to the playoffs.
Let's to the playoffs.
Carmelo Anthony did it.
Well,
okay.
Because y'all couldn't name the rest of that starting lineup.
Russ has done it.
Okay.
Russ has done it. Let me see who else has done it. James Harden has done it.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of guys who've done it. John Wall has done it for years in Washington. They were a perennial playoff team in Washington.
True.
Okay.
And this was before Bill became the guy. I'm not saying that he did it for the entire time. I'm saying before Bill became the guy, John Wall was doing it. There are guys who've done it.
And that's fine, but and again, we're kind of getting off topic, but Steph Curry, he had a great cast around him, and we can't sit there and then take it away from him and be like, well,
no.
Like he was in a great situation and that's a demerit against him, but he was hurt last year. He's played 40 games, yes, but he also went into the season thinking he was going to have his running partner until he blew out his Achilles. So Steph has played great, but the surrounding cast hasn't been great around him to help elevate that team. That team is built for Steph and Clay.
Right. And
now that it's just Steph, the infrastructure just isn't there. That's not the way that team is constructed.
That sounds like an excuse to me. If we keep it in a box.
What do you mean? Like... So no, you're saying it's an excuse. If in different conversation for a different day, Russell Westbrook, the triple doubles. I saw Gene in here talking about the losses. The triple doubles have gotten him to the playoffs. They don't equate to championships. So yes, you can drop Russell Westbrook on a team, and he's going to put up numbers. He's going to drag them to the 7th, 6th seed. They're going to get knocked out in the first round. That's fantastic. But that, as great as he is, it's not contributing to wins or championships, long playoff runs because of the team that's around him. Steph Curry, if you look at his numbers, they're very similar to what he's been doing over the during their dynasty run. And the difference is he doesn't have his running mate. So if you have a team constructed, I'll give you a football analogy. If you have a team constructed around, let's call it Lamar Jackson, if you then bring in somebody else to play quarterback, that team is not going to be the same team because it's constructed for that particular type of offense. So I get what you're saying. I feel like you're poking the bear and you're really trying to get us to say, that he should be getting more heat, and maybe he should be. But
no, I don't think – I'm not even talking about heat. I just think, for me, I've always looked at it like Steph is glorified for being a fantastic basketball player, and he is that. But the way that people talk about Steph as in all time and putting him next to the king, I'm just like, he does not come close to doing what LeBron James does. Not even close.
He's an incredible shooter. He's an incredible he's one of
he's
not
changed
the
the
best
game.
Shooter.
Yes, his style of play changed the whole game because you see in the effect. Everybody's shooting from logos now.
I think the three of us can sit here and nobody would put him in a conversation with LeBron James.
I think you gotta spend more time on NBA Twitter, bro. I'm gonna start atting you in these. People are telling me that Steph's the best player in basketball.
Okay,
really? There are people out there that say that?
The three of us sitting here, I don't think any of us would put him in the conversation with LeBron James, correct?
Nah, hell no.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so the people who, and we wouldn't do that. It's blasphemy. He's a great shooter. He's a great shooter. One of the best, if not the best shooter. He is not built to carry a team. He's not built to
So he's in a Kawhi bracket. Can we put him in a Kawhi bracket?
Let's put him in a Kawhi bracket. Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's all I wanted. I wanted us to acknowledge that. Okay, Kawhi.
Y'all don't want nobody to listen to the show. These dudes don't know what they talking about. They talking about Kawhi and Steph. Or can't carry a team.
We got to keep it all the way authentic. We got to keep it all the way authentic. So we got past that, the who's not. So that was your who's not team, Johnell, or was that Cash's who's not team?
Who? Golden State, that was mine.
That was yours. All right, so we're on to that. Now, do a segment of who do you trust more, right? But for this one, as I mentioned in our prep meeting, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Who's gonna have the bigger impact? Two big adjustments and additions have been made to two contending teams. LaMarcus Aldridge has joined the Brooklyn Nets, and Andre Drummond has joined the Los Angeles Lakers, the defending champs. 2-game winning streak, by the way. Stop playing with us. Who do you think is going to make the bigger impact for their respective team? LaMarcus Aldridge to the Nets or Drummond to the Lakers?
Cash, you got it.
Drummond for me, because I really honestly I don't know how much LaMarcus Aldridge is even going to play. Like that roster is loaded. Like I mean, they have DJ already. They have Blake. I mean,
apparently DJ's on the way out.
On the way
That's
out,
what I'm hearing too.
Injuries, or they don't want him in the rotation.
Yeah, they said your time's up.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I mean, he's just catching lobs.
I'm not reporting anything. I'm just saying that's what I've been hearing circulating around
That's wild. That's wild. Well, listen. That's all I'm saying. Either way, I see Drummond as fitting in when the Lakers get back healthy and LeBron and AD get back into the situation. That front line is going to be, come on. We already know what we're looking at with that. That's going to be lobs all day to Drummond. Not to mention he could back people down and has a post game of his own and could score with his back to the basket and face up.
Can we keep it at the lobs? Can we keep it at the lobs?
Yo, I'm just you can. But he does have a back to the basket game, and like I'm just playing with those guys. The thing's gonna be wide open for him, and he is a really athletic big who could do a lot of things. And not to mention, bro, the rebounds. My man has only had one season, and it was his rookie year that he didn't average double-digit rebounds. Only 1 year. And he's been in the league since 2011. So, you know what I mean? For 10 seasons straight.
Me right.
I mean, look, I just think that he's going to make a bigger impact if that's the question. Who's going to be the bigger impact to their team?
Okay. Johns, who you got?
Even with all the faces I was making, I do agree with Cash. Again, if we're talking about impact, I think the Lakers are going to lean on Drummond to do more. Not necessarily scoring, but he's going to be on the court. They're going to need his defense. They're going to need the rebounds. Impact, I think it's got to be Drummond. Brooklyn with LaMarcus, I just don't think they're going to ask him to do that much. You know, they're probably going to be asking him, like, if he could get 10 and 10 a night, I think they would be happy with it coming off. You know, is he going to?
I don't even think they need that. I don't even think they need that. I literally think they just need the body for a certain amount of minutes. That's what they need. They need to put 5 people on the court. NBA rules says that. Like they would play with 3, but they need 5, so they needed a guy.
Yeah.
And he was on the street. He was on the street, so they grabbed him.
Plot twist. You guys, Johnell specifically said the Lakers are going to ask Drummond to do a ton, and LaMarcus is not going to be asked to do a lot. That is exactly why I feel like LaMarcus is going to make the bigger impact. Jane makes a great point in the chat. Drummond cannot play down the stretch because he cannot make free throws. We know how that works. Dwight did not play down the stretch for the Lakers because he couldn't play free throws, and AD ended up playing the 5.
Do they still do hacker? Do they still do hacker guy or everything like that? Do they still do that?
They did it to Dwight last year.
Yeah, did they?
Had to make some free throws to prove that we're not going to foul you every time for an easy 2.
It's such a shame.
I think LaMarcus, because there's no expectation, and put it this way, he is a shooting 5, a stretch 5.
Is he a 5? He's never even wanted to be defined as a 5 himself. He never wanted
to be a 4.
Yeah.
In a shooting league with maybe the best shooting team in the NBA, LaMarcus is going to have at least 6 to 7 open looks from 3 alone.
He's going to have space.
So I feel like Drummond, because I don't think Drummond's that good. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's like, oh wow, we got Andre Drummond. He's the next Shaq. I don't think he's that good. I think if he does what he comes here to do, like play the Dwight role, get a lot of rebounds, play good defense, run the floor, he'll walk into a 12 and 12 each night just off accident between LeBron and right. But I don't like, you talk about back to the basket. Oh my God, no! Please, no, Drummond. Never put your back to the basket, Drummond. Actually, I want you to face up every time, brother. I need you to face up. But I think LaMarcus, because of the fact that he's just going to be left alone a lot and just be near the basket a lot, being a big, he's going to have the impact, and you can't guard that team.
All you have to do is finish around the basket. That's it. Like catch the ball and finish around the basket.
When he's at the 3, you cannot just say, "Well, now I'm going to crash on James, who's driving. I'm gonna crash.
Can he still play though?
Bro, he gave the Lakers 28 this year. What do you mean? That's
Does it? I mean, look, you get lost down there in San Antonio. That's why. You know what I mean?
He's trying to get out of San Antonio. Pop promised them, if we can't contend here, I will send you somewhere you can contend or allow you to go.
So Pop just admitted that they can't contend this year? Is that what you're telling me?
You think Pop cut Buddy because he's a bum? Absolutely not.
But
he's still averaging 14 points this year.
In that
yeah, but they're like in the playoffs. Like they're in.
Come on, everybody knows. Pop knows, okay, that they ain't doing nothing this year. All right? Pop knows they ain't doing nothing this year. John, I toss it to you for our trivia time that we have that I won last week. I'm tossing it to you for this week's trivia.
Yeah, it's funny that you keep talking about how you won last week, but the week before you didn't. And
I didn't lose. Nobody won. So I ain't lose.
So I won. If that's the case, mention me. Anyway, we were talking about this man earlier, Russell Westbrook, continuing his historic triple-double pace. He had the first ever 35-point, 20-assist triple-double in NBA history. Just another notch in that man's Hall of Fame career.
And he had a yammy on Biombo.
Oh my gosh, he
disrespectful yammy. Like, who even does that?
That man's career.
That man has a family. People probably watching and stuff. Seen it.
So, the trivia for today, I'm going to go, instead of triple-doubles, I'm going to go double-doubles. And the most assists in a double-double is 30. 30 assist double-double by a point guard in a game in December of 1990.
Oh, I know who it is.
I'm gonna give you Price. If you want, you can guess. I got some hints. Give me take them.
Do you have hints? Give me the hints. I just want to make sure.
All right, and you can guess after each one if you want.
Okay.
He was drafted in 1986, 22nd overall to the Bucks. All right. His number 4 jersey is retired by Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Yes, the Spartans. 3.
It's not who I thought it was. I'll take.
He became a coach. So he was an NBA player. He later became a coach. The team that he had the 30 assists for, he ended up coaching at some point during his coaching career. He's no longer coaching.
Yeah, I got it. I thought that's who it was. Joe Dumars.
Joe Dumars. Sean?
Oh man, that was gonna be I'm thinking number 4, but Joe Dumars didn't coach Detroit.
Wasn't he like a coach of Detroit? Like in like the
he was front office.
He was front office.
He was front office.
He never coached them?
No.
I don't know about that. Number 4, Michigan.
They coached as Scott Skiles? No way. Scott Skiles didn't go to Michigan State, did he? Did he go to Michigan State? He was number 4. But he was on Orlando. Oh, did this happen when he was on Orlando? Was that? I thought that was a 2020. Was that a 30-30? No. Scott Skiles never had 30 points.
Yo. Oh, my God.
I thought it was Joe Dumars.
Time's a ticking.
I don't know, man. I don't want to guess Scott Skiles now because that's like cheating. So I'm going to say, I'm thinking about number 4. What point guard's at number 4 that time outside of Joe Dumars was really a 2, but he played the point as well. Oh, man.
Sean's really trying to keep his streak going.
I am, bro. I am. I'm trying to stunt. I don't know, man. I don't want to guess Scott Skiles because that's whack. If that's correct, that would be whack. I'll take the L on this one.
So our watchers are really smart. J. Cole, Spence, it is Scott Skiles.
It is Scott Skiles?
He had a 22 and 30 double-double.
He did coach Orlando.
Yep, in a win against the Nuggets in 1990. Most assists.
You threw me off.
Double-double.
You threw me off when he got drafted by the Bucks. That's
20-30.
You threw me off with he got drafted by the Bucks. That's why you should have said that. That messed me up. Because I was like, wait, did Joe Dumars get drafted by the Bucks in like get traded to Detroit? Like, what happened?
Right. We know Dumar's playing his whole career. All right. Cash, we got some games this week that you're going to tell our viewers that they could put some cash on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Trying to win the spreads. What you got?
I got my 2 games are 8 o'clock starters, so let's get them out now. I got Knicks, Timberwolves. I want you guys on the under. Okay, the under is 219. I'm traditionally not an under better, but the Knicks have been holding their record is they got a winning record when they hold teams under 100 points, and Minnesota is not scoring at all. They don't have any shooters. They're not scoring a lot of points outside of Cat. I think this is good to hold it. And while you're at it, you could take the Knicks -3.5 too. And then you could do that at the same time and double up and thank me later. And then I like Portland. I like Portland -8. Speaking of Joe Dumars, -8 versus Detroit. Detroit is god awful. They're basically giving up on the season. And Portland is hot right now. Norman Powell fitting into the situation perfectly over there. I really like what they're doing in Portland. Okay. I can't believe they're a 6 seed right now. It's unbelievable to think that team is like as loaded as they are at 6, and it's like they're comfortably there. There's teams that are way ahead of them. So I want to see where they could get to when the season's coming up. There's like 20-something games left.
Yeah, CJ missed a lot of games, and Nurkic is still out. So riddled them.
Yeah. So, but they're gonna get back healthy eventually, and hopefully stay healthy. What happened to that kid, Zach Collins? He still play?
No,
is he hurt again?
He's injured still.
He got hurt again too. Jeez, they're just a mess over there. But yeah, that's what I got. That's what I put my cash on.
You're not an expert, right? But that's what you bet on.
I'm not an expert, but this is what I bet on. I might need to get off the phone so I can put them in.
All right, so I'll start with you, Cash, while we were just on you. Who do you have next week as your 2 teams? Who's going to be the hot team? Who's going to be the not team?
I got my hot is Denver. Listen, I'm not a big Aaron Gordon fan, but for what that situation is over there that they got, he is perfect.
I told you
for what they do
last week.
He's perfect. Yeah,
right.
He runs the floor. His athleticism is actually good, makes him a really good defender. He's long. He's lanky. He's another setup guy who could go and get his own basket. He's knocking down on open shots. He's played great the first couple games that they've played with him. So I'm liking Denver a lot, and I think they can really creep up and make something really special happen. With this season, they're sitting right now at what are they at 5. With the Lakers situation with injuries, and my not team is I don't know if we're going to that, but my not team is the Clippers. The Clippers are ahead of them, but they're like the biggest enigma. Like, what even are they?
Why you brought them up, man?
Yeah, it's like, what are they?
Get Kawhi out of here, man.
There's mad names there. There's guys that on paper it looks like it's supposed to work, but it doesn't work. And that's my not team is the Clippers, man. They're just a mess.
Yeah.
They blew
even though they're the 3rd
seed. Lead.
Yeah, they're doing that all the time. The 4th quarter, they're horrible.
Yeah. Go back to the bubble.
Yeah. Don't. That was the last time they were good was it was like 2019 when they were consistently playing good basketball.
Johns, who you got? Who's gonna be hot and who's gonna be not next week?
They stink, man. So Price was talking about the Warriors earlier. And I tried to curb them a little bit because they're going to be my hot team this week. So I couldn't have them talking crazy. And I had to come to their defense a little bit. But
what do you see in hotness with this team? Show me. Tell me now.
So again, I don't think they're going to make a playoff run. I just think over the next week they have a really soft schedule. They do get that bump from Steph coming back. Obviously, they won the other night. They got Miami, Toronto, and Atlanta this week, and Toronto and Atlanta are 2 of the worst teams defending the point guard position. So, again, I'm not saying Golden State's going on a run. I just think Steph Curry and that team will get hot. They'll start to win a couple games this week, and they'll probably settle back into earth pretty soon after that. At this point, my not team. I've been sitting here the last couple of weeks, and I've been trying not to bring them up, but I hate to say it, it's got to be the Lakers. I know they won a couple. They won the last couple games, but they have a really weird team. Like, they're only going to go as far as LeBron takes them, but that also directly coincides with AD's health.
Right.
If AD's not healthy and he's not playing well, that team isn't going to go anywhere. And I think they boosted their bench, their supporting cast. But ultimately it comes down to those two players. And until we see them back on the court healthy, I think they just continue to flounder. The one good thing I would say is that if they were to drop, they're not going to miss the playoffs. But if they were to drop to like that 6 seed, that 7 seed, I don't think playing Phoenix in the first round or the Clippers in the first round is the worst thing in the world. So I think they just need to get right. And, after that, we can have another conversation. But for now, I think they're going to struggle.
From what I'm hearing, AD's about a week and a half out. He was checked out before the game on Sunday, and again, he's making progress. But I want AD to take as much time as he needs.
You don't though. He needs to be in game condition, bro.
Right.
There's only 72 games this year. We're 47 in, so there's 23 games, 24 games left or something like that for most teams.
You want him in game condition, but you also saw what happened to KD a few years ago, and we haven't seen a healthy KD since then. So I agree. Like, you want him to get back and be able to get his legs under him, but the last thing you want is a pretty catastrophic injury. And now not only is he not playing this playoffs, but he's not playing next year.
Right. Okay. I hear that.
Now this is where it gets spicy. This is like where we have the most switching ups in terms of the teams and the players for this segment. We're gonna do our power rankings. I'll go first. At 1, I got the Brooklyn Nets. They're still 8-2 in their last 10 games. I'm sick of saying it, but Brooklyn, like, James Harden literally just has that team. Like, he is just he's unbelievable. He's got to be in the top 4 candidates right now for MVP.
Absolutely.
What he's done in Brooklyn has been fantastic.
Yeah.
At 2, I have the Phoenix Suns. At 2. They are 7-3 in their last 10. They've been playing extremely well. Devin Booker, just steady as of a player as you'll find. Nothing has changed except for Chris Paul on that.
He's really putting it together, right? He's really putting. No, there's some. You got to give the other guys credit too. Give Bridges credit. Give Ayton credit. Those guys went back to the lab. They worked on their game. No, those guys worked on their games. They're playing way better this year. And since the bubble, they all came to the bubble ready to play. Yeah. Ready to play and shape everything. You're very politically
correct these days, Cash. You take Chris Paul off that team and they're back in the lottery.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I don't agree. They didn't have him in the bubble. They didn't have him in the bubble, and they should have made the playoffs.
Bro,
if it wasn't for Dame Lillard's heroics, they get in the playoffs.
It was a handful of games, and you're putting that over 72 games with Chris Paul.
I'm telling you, they haven't played 72 games with Chris Paul yet. They played what they played.
Cap. I should have a cap. I need a cap on deck for when you cap on this show.
I'm not capping. That team's I think that team was trending in this direction already. Chris Paul certainly does help the situation. Do I think they're the number 2 seed without Chris Paul? No. But do I think they're in the playoff conversation in the West without Chris Paul? Absolutely. That team was trending in that direction. Yeah, even going back to 5
years.
Oh, you sound like what's his name? Tony Kornheiser. Tony Kornheiser with they're 2 years away from being 2 years away. That's what you sound like.
Literally, like this is the process is taking forever. All right.
Oh my God. They were trending in this direction already.
Anyway, that's my number 2 team. My number 3 team, I got Utah. Keep it back in there. Utah's been playing extremely well. 8-2 in their last 10. Milwaukee lost 3 in a row, so I had to take them out of there. And Philly's on a 2-game losing streak, so I had to take them out of there. So I have Brooklyn at 1, the Suns at 2, and the Jazz at 3. What y'all got for me?
Nice. I got Brooklyn at 1. Surprise.
Yeah.
Well, we have to keep them at 1, and it's crazy that they're not even at full strength yet.
Exactly.
Like, that's what it is. Like, they're not even at full strength. We all know what it is. Everything you said, Sean, about Harden, the way he's playing, just holding it down. I bet he didn't think he was going to come there and literally have to carry this entire thing just to get to the playoffs, and then these guys will come back and play with him. I guarantee he didn't think that was the scenario. That's not what they sold him on at the All-Star game. I got the Sixers at 2, still playing good basketball, even without Embiid. They're 7-3 their last 10. I love what they're doing.
They lost 3.
They lost 2, but I still love what they're doing. They're in every game, and they're missing their best player. But they lost 2 straight, yes, but still they won.
Best player.
Yeah, without the best player, and they won 7 of 8 before that. So I'll give them a break on the losing 2. And then I'm back on the Jazz too. I'm back on Utah. I like how they've looked the last few games. Donovan Mitchell, their team is so balanced. They got guys all over the place, just guys who could play. I like Bogdanovich. Rudy Gobert gives you what he gives you in rebounding and block shots and rim protection. Donovan Mitchell is starting to play consistently and do what he does and what we all know we can do. I love Jordan Clarkson off the bench. He's just fits with that team perfectly, and he's just giving everybody buckets who they play. He's found his role. So I like Utah, man, and I think they're gonna hold this one seed just because the injury situation with the Lakers. Phoenix, I just don't think they're going to stay consistent enough to make up the gap. I've already talked about the enigma that is the Clippers. And then Denver, I think, is too far back too. Denver, Portland, Dallas, all those guys are too far back. That even if they get on a real hot streak, I don't think they're going to catch. They're going to catch up to where Utah is. So they've built themselves a lead. Let's see if we get fans back in the arena like major, so there can be some kind of home court advantage during the playoffs.
Fans. Their fans are racist. We don't want their fans back in the stands.
I'm just saying for the home court advantage aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's see if Utah can hold on to this thing and if it's real or not. I hesitantly put them back in my power rankings, my top 3.
Johns, what you got for us?
So I'm gonna go completely left field with my power ranking.
Where he's going?
I got Brooklyn, Philly, and Utah. I'm right with Cash. I'm right with Cash on everything. And I've been one of those people that I just didn't believe in Utah. But at this point in the season, they've been so consistent from the very jump. Like this is a very good, very well coached team.
Balanced.
So I couldn't hold them out for too much longer. So I'm going with Price for all the same reasons. I got Brooklyn, I got Philly, I got Utah.
Don't get me wrong. Utah is still going to trick us in the playoffs. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. But you got to give them the credit for what they're doing.
I think it depends on their
matchup.
Depends on their matchup.
They're not.
They can knock out the Clippers. They can knock out the Clippers. Yes, they can. In 7 games, yes, they can.
They'll win.
In 7 games, yes, they can.
They'll win their first round matchup.
Not sure, but they will not. It depends who they play in the first round. Let's say Portland falls to the 8th spot, they're not. Utah's not beating that team. They can, but I don't see Dame going down in the first round to Utah. Dame has been out the first round literally like just about every year of his career. If they get Dallas, that's not a matchup that's very favorable. Dallas can get hot, and we know Luka. He's willing his team into situations that they've never been to. If Denver falls into the 8th spot, I'm 100% sure Denver will beat Utah. But again, I think the matchups will matter. But regardless, I don't think Utah's going anywhere. They're going to have a great season. They're going to get in the playoffs. They might win a round. They're not beating anybody in the second round. They're not beating the Clippers.
I agree with you.
Yeah. All right.
He is fired up about it.
As we end the show, there are reports. This is I wanted to end the show like this. I didn't want to talk about it because I want your minds to wander a little bit. There are reports that Steph has an upcoming extension that, the Warriors want him to sign, but Steph has still been kind of like holding back on signing that extension. And Brian Windhorst is reporting, ESPN's Brian Windhorst, by the way, just so y'all know what I'm talking about. Brian Windhorst is reporting that apparently LeBron was doing some recruiting and courting at the All-Star game, that whole little Akron connection, trying to get Steph to the Lakers. Do you guys make anything of that, or is that just Steph never leaving?
Steph was literally just born in Akron. Brian Windhorst is crazy.
It doesn't. I'm just
chill out, Lil Brian.
They were born in the same hospital. There's a connection.
Lil Brian Windhorst. That's what I'm gonna start calling him. Lil Brian Windhorst. You keep saying
that, but Steph was talking about that the entire time at All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
You see them interviews? Oh, two guys from Akron on the same. He kept talking about that. So Steph, obviously, it means something to him.
Blah blah blah.
Lakers off of that. So nothing.
Price not convinced.
Smoke or no smoke.
That's nothing. I don't even want to give it more than that. Nothing.
Okay.
He lived in Akron for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, but he's about to live in LA for 30 more years. That's what we're not talking about Akron right now. We're talking about what Steph considered the Lakers. That's what we're talking about.
I mean, look, that would be so garbage,
Yo, Price.
Yo. I'd be so mad, yo. Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, it's garbage. Garbage is what that would be.
Okay.
Garbage. Enough is enough. Let's get back to you get drafted by your team. You come up with your team. You stay with your team. Let's get back to 1 star per team. Maybe 2 if you develop a guy into a star. Let's get back to parity. Let's get back to you don't know who's going to win before the start of the season. Literally, if the season isn't today, we would know who's going to win next year. It's horrible.
Johnell, is there anything there at all? Johnell's dying.
I mean, I think when it comes to LeBron, anything is possible. Anything is possible. I just feel like when it comes to the NBA and their stars, except for LeBron, I feel like it really depends. And Kawhi, I can't stand him. And Kawhi, I feel like what the team does really has an impact on how they proceed. So, I don't know. I think it's something fun to talk about, but right now I wouldn't put too much stock in it.
Okay. Well, you know me, I'm putting hella stock into it because I'm putting hella stock. I'm putting hopeful stocks. I'm putting prayer stocks. I'm putting all type of stocks that we could somehow land Steph. But again, I don't think there's much to make there. I think
go away. You love it. You go away with the super team nonsense. I hate it.
So listen, I think as the deadline draws, like when the offseason comes, if Steph goes into next season a free agent, it's gonna really be spicy.
How much longer do you expect this guy to play?
Bro, but that's the thing. He can play off the ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be on the ball with the Lakers.
I'm talking about LeBron.
LeBron got 10 more years.
Yo.
At least
Yo.
If he gets Steph, he's playing 15 more years. Okay?
Tom Brady got y'all messed up, bro. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Tom Brady don't run, jump, do no physical activity. He eat tree bark. He eat tree bark and granola every day for his sleep like 12 hours. Chill. LeBron, I get it. He take care of his body and everything, but he ain't gonna go 10 more years.
Janelle, Jay has a very important message.
I give him 4 more years.
If you do not put him in your in one of your photos behind you in those frames, those pretty black frames, he's taking you out of his MySpace top 8. So you got.
I got a week.
You got a week.
1 week. You better find a good one too.
All right, fellas. Good show, man. I'm gonna holler at you.
All right, Joe.
Love you guys.
Peace.